Hey, crypto traders, checking in. Going to do a real quick check-in because we've got the FOMC and the Fed reaction here at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you don't know what that is, it's when the Fed sets its monetary policy and guidelines going forward. Use Google and learn more about it. It happens enough that it's worth paying attention to because when it happens, we see volatility in the dollar, in metals, in stocks, and we have seen Bitcoin react to it in the past as well. This is going to be a key day. We're either going to see a bullish reaction to the dollar, which is going to have us heading to change the daily trend, which would be bearish for the assets just mentioned, or it's going to be a bearish reaction to the dollar. We're going to fail to change the daily trend. We're going to keep the weekly bear flag possible, and we're going to be looking back down at the low of 91.75. So it's a pretty big day as far as what the reaction is going to be. Just keep in mind that oftentimes we see fake outs. We see a reaction in one direction for 5 to 30 minutes, and then it completely turns around in the other direction. That's happened many times as well. So worth paying attention to, worth learning about, and we'll see how the crypto space reacts. One more note before we get into the cryptocurrency technical analysis, we need to be keeping an eye on MSTR. So MSTR is the MicroStrategy company on the NASDAQ that has posted that they are converting their cash into Bitcoin. And this is definitely a leader in the space for them to do so. They've compared the dollar to being like melting ice. That is a statement. You can see the most notable thing for me is not that they are putting $500 million in Bitcoin, which is insane to see the amount of fluctuation that's going to go on in that, but look at the reaction. This is the market saying, hey, going heavy in Bitcoin is bullish. So that's extremely notable. This is a lot of dollar volume going on, and we're talking, double-digit millions of dollars with this stock now breaking out and getting above key resistance of 165. And look at the resistance after 165. Very limited. We're looking up at 196 from here. So way overextended in the short term. Certainly not looking for any entries from here. Perhaps back burner trade, first 5-minute oversold conditions, first hourly oversold conditions, next daily consolidation. These are all areas that you can be looking for potential entries. But for me personally, this is just going to be another instrument that I use during the regular trading day to trade Bitcoin. Because if we're between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern and Bitcoin breaks out or sees some significant action, MSRT is going to follow, and it's another way to play it. So potentially putting capital in my stock account in MSRT to benefit from short-term bull moves in Bitcoin. For right now, we're still running on the hype that they upped their Bitcoin holdings, and pretty wild that their 500 million could become 550 million or 450 million in one day if the Bitcoin volatility really picks up. So Bitcoin daily time frame, nice bounce follow through. It's been a leader on this bounce. It just slowly grinded higher while stocks are still trading sideways. And let's look at the S&P 500 futures chart because it is range bound on the 12-hour time frame. With the inability to see any notable bounce follow through, we have pretty much a triple top of resistance at the moment. And we've got a couple little support levels, but we're not getting notable daily bounce follow through as we are on Bitcoin. And if we just wanted to compare, my fib tool's been messing with me recently, so not sure it's there. It is. So if we just want to compare, we are pushing the 50% retracement level here on Bitcoin. We're just under it, maybe 45, 48%. And if we compare the S&P 500, this is one way. Again, I don't use fibs much, but when I'm trying to convey things to people, we can see that it's a little bit weaker. We are down perhaps at the 40% level with where we are currently standing right now. So not as significant a bounce, Bitcoin leading the way, and getting to that 50% retracement mark is important because that creates a lot of space for the bulls to work with. Look at the weekly time frame. The inside bar broke bullish. This is a monthly bull flag absolutely being possible. And if we were going to stay tight, we would want to see a solid bounce, a lower high compared to $12,086, pull back, hold that low of 98.13, and then a weekly trend change. If you're in cash, you want to see this happen because it's a nice clear bull entry to enter on a weekly higher low using 98 as your stop and hoping for the monthly bull flag. Right now, the burden of proof is on the bears to prove to us that it is not a monthly bull flag. And for them to do so, they would have to top out on the weekly and then drop down and break 9,800. So it's a very simple statement. If 9,800 holds for the next couple months, that's extremely bullish for Bitcoin. because that keeps this, I mean, and you could call this a cup and handle on the monthly time frame. Failed to break resistance, trying for a bull flag, and it's entirely possible that we see that breakout with follow through. So it's a nice bounce at this point. If we were going to V-shape to a higher high over 12,400 from here, we would have to see increasing bull volume for that to be a possibility. So that's worth paying attention to. But overall, a victory for the bulls on the size of the bounce at this point. Bitcoin dominance chart is an equilibrium, and the Bitcoin bulls have been gaining against altcoins pretty significantly over the last 4 days, and we need to be paying close attention to this chart because it's going to tell us going forward who is stronger and who is weaker. And there's also the possibility that this news of MRST, it's going to take me a while to get that ticker down. MNST, what was it? No, MRST. I lost it now. But perhaps that news upped the Bitcoin dominance. That's definitely giving Bitcoin attention the last 2 days comparative to altcoins. So it's all about 62, which is a wall of resistance. If we reject, we remain in this tightening range, which could last another week plus. But that is the key level of resistance to be watching. With that, we have names like ETH BTC in a daily equilibrium. And we're watching for a daily higher low to form here. And we have plenty of space for that to still form. 3122 is the most important support. Patient bulls are waiting for a 4-hour trend change setup. Aggressive bulls are going to start scaling in and put their stop under that 31 level. ETH USD, daily consolidation still underway while Bitcoin's at the high of its move. So it's showing us very clearly that that dominance is shifting a little bit. And there's no red flags here. The bulls are building a base of support in the low 350s. It's a 4-hour equilibrium to be watching. We've got our high, low, lower high, higher low. Lower high is anything under 384.61. And aggressive bulls are going to bottom fish these low 350s. Best case scenario would be for the Bitcoin bulls on the US dollar pairing to maintain the 4-hour 12-period exponential support, which is my short-term guide, which has held nicely over the last 2 days. Hold that level. See the Bitcoin dominance chart form a daily lower high, failing 62. See the ETH BTC chart form a daily higher low, holding 31. And have ETH USD hold the low 350s. That would make for an ideal bottom fishing play off of that support and something to keep an eye on. Tightening range on the 4-hour for ETH USD, tightening range on the daily for ETH BTC, potential tightening range on the daily for Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin USD, we're watching the 4-hour 12 period. That's pretty much the simplistic view of all of those charts. Link USD is fading back down towards 922, so we're very clearly seeing the weakness comparative to Bitcoin in some of these altcoins. I like the 12-hour time frame for clarity because these lower highs are very clear. 1340, 1329, 1325, another one at 1239. Anything under 1239 keeps these lower highs intact. The exponential moving averages are keeping the price contained. That is our short-term guide. And as far as the weekly consolidation that's underway, we have not found a weekly high or low yet. The inside bar broke bearish, where Bitcoin's inside bar broke bullish. Again, a very distinct difference. Aggressive bulls are going to be playing off of $9 support and looking to scale in, but I personally would want to see those 12-hour lower highs break if we were going to be seeing a shift in momentum. BNB USDT daily consolidation underway. Another hourly oversold bounce. It's not our back burner bounce because we already got our first hourly oversold bounce. I'm thinking of YFI. Never mind. So, it is our first hourly oversold bounce. And we got a decent amount of follow through. So this was a back burner trade. Significant bull move on the daily time frame. Big pullback. And the RSI on the hourly got close to 30 a couple times. But as far as actually physically breaking it, we broke it and then saw a $2 plus bounce. So a nice solid 8 to 10% bounce on first hourly oversold conditions. 4-hour time frame has to change the trend back to the bulls for the daily higher low to be set. And a fairly decent bounce here. So again, aggressive bulls are going to know that just a lower high is going to form. I should say patient bulls are going to know that a lower high is going to form on this 4-hour bounce. And they're going to be looking for a 4-hour higher low entry using 2582 as a stop. Aggressive bulls are already in, playing that hourly oversold drop. YFI had another hourly oversold bounce, but it wasn't the back burner because we already had that. So it had it at 3250, significant bounce, another hourly drop to oversold conditions, and another significant bounce. So again, I wouldn't call it a back burner trade, but it shows us there's bulls still buying these dips, and we're still in a daily uptrend, trying to hold the daily 12-period exponential support. 4-hour time frame, we know the trend change is needed. So same thing, a patient bull wanting to try for the daily high or low, waiting for this bounce to top out, and then trying to enter the 4-hour high or low using 30, 50, 30,500 as a stop level. That's where we stand. Keep an eye in 20 minutes for the FOMC reaction. Watch that dollar and just be aware that there are fake outs aplenty on FOMC day. And really by the end of the day, the last 30 minutes, 3:30 to 4 p.m. as the market's closing, we get a real good gauge of where the follow-through, the direction that the follow-through is going to be going. Have a good rest of your day, do good things, and we will see you soon.
So we got a new friend on the property. Unfortunately, this groundhog has lost all function of one of its back legs. Does a pretty good job of dragging himself around, but they usually run. You can't get anywhere near these things, and I could tell that when it let me get that close that something was definitely wrong with it. So it's been eating all these huckleberries, and I set out a bowl of water and it just took a drink. And we got a box in case it needs some shelter from rain, as it's not going to be able to get out of the rain quickly. He's been around for about 3 days now, and every day he's in a new spot of the yard. So he was over by the barn and he went and hid in there, and then he was up in the backyard. So he's been moving around, but really just using me for protection against predators, and hopefully his leg will heal a bit to allow for him to move on. We'll see. You could close him up in the garden and heal for a couple weeks. Not sure what to do about it. We'll see.
So groundhog update, just heard Sweetie barking, which she never does. So she was getting all riled up and ran out there, and she was running around the groundhog, and I don't think she would have, maybe she would have done something if I wasn't there, but yelled and she ran off. And the groundhog has 75% function in his back leg now, way better than 0. And that's just in only 3 days time. So it's looking like he's going to be just fine.